We now move to the final session of the forum, a visioning exercise under the National Development Plan. Nexia Maldives will guide us through an interactive session titled Imagining the Future of Finance in the Maldives 2045. The session will be introduced by Mr. Hamid, Sodique, Managing Director and Team Leader for the National Development Plan Formulation Project, and it will be conducted by Mr. Mohamed Inaz, Director of Climate Change and Sustainable Development at Nexia Maldives. Please join me in welcoming the team from Nexia Maldives.
It has been a while that Maldives have not had a long-term national development plan, and now we are going to have one again. And today, all of you, the best, the most brilliant brains in the finance sector, are going to work with us and help us to vision the National Development Plan, especially on the vision in the future of finance in the country. We are the technical partner of the government of Maldives in their initiative to develop this long-term plan. Nexia Maldives is a management consulting and assurance service provider. We are active in socio-economic research, consulting, audit, assurance, and taxation. We have been in existence for the last 18 years. I'm going to give you a very brief introduction to our work, and then I will let Inaz to take on in conducting the activity. Resilient Maldives 2045, Prosperity for All. This is the plan or the vision we are going to have for the next 20 years. Let me just quickly run through the conceptual framework we are using for this exercise. In essence, our method is based on two key drivers. One is that it will be through a consultative process where we like to have engagement of everyone in contributing to this vision. And secondly, we are also going to base it on evidence. So it will be a data-driven process as well. So to frame it in a single slide, on engagement of all key stakeholders, we use a framework called the quadruple helix framework. It is a framework which encourages collaborative and a partnership approach to envisioning creative and a sustainable development process. So it emphasizes the collaboration between the key stakeholders, the government, private sector, civil society, as well in this process. So based on the input we derive from the consultations, we move on to the next phase or the next stage. The donut model is where we try to, donut model is a sustainable development framework where the humanity essentially has to thrive under the ecological limitations, or rather without degrading the environment we live in. Also, we need to be above the flow of the social foundations. So this is the safe and just space where the humanity can thrive without crossing biophysical limits or planetary limits, while ensuring that everyone is benefited or prosperity is ensured for everyone. So based on our analysis on this, we try to, or rather we work on the theory of change. That is where we try to connect, assess the feasibility through an evidence-based process. We try to connect the strategies or activities with through a causal relationship where we connect the dots. The activities will result on the outcomes we desire to get. And since this is a long-term development process, or it looks rather into a very long future, we need to use some scenario modeling to see how the actions or directions we choose will result in different outcomes, and do comparisons and scenario analysis to arrive at a model and come up with strategies that would work best for the Maldives. So next, I will briefly touch upon the stakeholder engagement. As I said, to ensure consultative process, we try to devise various tools and avenues to engage everyone who could participate or contribute through various means which they can. And today we are very glad and like to thank you for coming here and giving your time and contribution to the development of the plan. And I'd like to thank Pension Office for giving us this time to pick your brains and get your assistance in the plan we try to develop for our country. So our main stakeholder engagement tools are key informant interviews. These are where we try to get the insights from key experts in various fields, not only those with knowledge, but those with expertise, experience, and especially lived experiences as well. And sector roundtables will be a main part of our strategizing process. This is when we bring sector experts around key sectoral issues, and we would like your engagement beyond today as well in contributing and participating in the sector roundtables. Towards the end, I will share you a link where you could provide us your contact details if you would like to contribute to various sector roundtables and other consultation avenues that we have. Town hall meetings is a key part of our engagement strategy. Town halls are where we would travel across all the inhabited islands and provide an avenue for the residents and citizens of each island to contribute to the national development planning process. Focus group discussions is where, again, an avenue which we would like you to help us more in the future. For specific issues or issues affecting specific groups, we would have smaller focus group discussions, which is apart from the sector roundtables. Written submissions will be open very soon. Call for papers is already out through our internet website and social media. And we would also launch a specific web portal for this where anyone who would like to give stronger or research-based solutions or researches which they have conducted, or give us ideas on to the policy or concept notes, which may be very, very short, which you could share impromptu ideas, or those which there are no evidence, but which you would like to still suggest to us. Online surveys we are conducting to give a wider public another avenue to provide their input into this process. Towards the end of the consultation process, we will hold a national conference where we would bring about 200 odd participants from across the country to look at and to discuss and debate on the strategies. And this would be a 2-day conference, and I hope to see again some of you or many of you in this conference as well. And we would be disseminating the information as well as collecting input for this process through social media and our web portal. So that's in summary how our methodology and the engagement tools that we like to use. And today is one of the avenues which is not specifically listed here, but still very important. During this period where we conduct our stakeholder engagements, if there are any conferences organized on various forums, we would like to be part of it and get the input of the participants. Now I'll pass to Inaz to take this activity. Mohamed Inaz is the Climate Change and Sustainable Development Director at Nexia Maldives.
Thank you, Hamid. Good afternoon, everyone. So just to be clear, not all the 200 participants that are going to attend the national conference are going to be odd, although it's 200 odd participants, as Hamid suggested. So my task here is to conduct a visioning exercise with all of you. It's slightly, I don't want to use the word intimidating, because all of you are very highly respected financial people, and I'm here, climate change and sustainable guy. But let's put it this way, respectful fear. But it is a great platform for this very high-level engagement. So we thought we'll utilize this, and we're very grateful for the Pension Administration Office for giving us the opportunity to do this. You have on your tables what we would be doing. There is a 2-sheet pager with you. They call it 1-pagers, but it comes to 2 pages. What we're going to do for the next few minutes is go to the future. There's this saying by Dr. Ralph Mercer. This one is adopted. It says, if you do nothing, you get the future you deserve, not the future you need or want. So what we're going to do is do this. We're going to go to the future we want. In order to do that, I'm going to kindly, respectfully, and fearfully ask you to come to the edge of your seats. Right now, you're very comfortable seated in the seats, but come to the edge of your seats. Yeah, because we're going to go up to 2045. Okay? The next bit is even more fearful, all right? What we are now going to do is close our eyes. And that's very scary for finance people, because the moment you close your eyes, your account is in trouble. So if you can't close your eyes, stare down at your feet and start breathing and realize that you are actually breathing. So take a breath in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And now you travel into 2045 and imagining what the finance situation is in 2045. What it is like in 2045 in your mind. Think positive. I will give you 10 seconds to stay positive in 2045. All right, now slowly close your eyes. Yes, you've closed your eyes. Now slowly open them. And you're back. You're back in 2025. And now what we're going to do is follow this exercise of how you got there to 2045, that vision you just had in 2045. To do that, we are helping you with some of the themes that we've developed. There are 5 themes, and we have about 16 tables. So how do we divide this? Can we which means 3 for each team. So the first 3 to raise their first hand would get team 1. But here are the teams, if you want to have a look. So who wants team 1? Since there are none, there is one at the back, that's one. There are 2 more of team. Let's do it this way. The last row will be team 1. The next row up front will be team 2. And the next one, 4, 5, like that, all right? So the first row is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, okay? Everyone clear with which team they're working on? Perfect, all right. Let's go through the teams and the questions that we have. To help you further, we've come up with... So team 1, all right? Team 1 says risk-based and inclusive lending. Here, what's happening is that in 2045, banks lend based on transparent, risk-based assessments, not just collateral. And micro, small, medium enterprises and underserved communities thrive. How did we get here? Yep. What data and credit systems or regulatory reforms made this possible? How did blended finance or government incentives help? That's one, group 1. 2 is what the CEO of Pension Administration Office has been calling for, capital market. Yes, so this one is about, by 2045, the capital market is deep, transparent, and a key engine of development. What steps built this market? What reforms attracted institutional investors and issuers? What reforms attracted MPAO to come in? How did technology investor education help, right? That's 2. Second one from the last. Third one, possibly my favorite, climate and green finance for resilience. In 2045, finance in the Maldives supports climate resilience and green growth. What financing tools, institutions, and partnerships help us lead this transition? What did the role of ESG reporting, green bonds, and carbon pricing play? How was access to global climate finance improved? That's the third theme for the third row from behind. Fourth row from behind, that's the second row from front, innovation, fintech, and digital transformation. In 2045, digital finance platforms and fintechs have revolutionized access, security, and service delivery. What infrastructure and safeguards enabled this? What role did regulatory sandboxes, digital ID, and open banking play? How was trust, cybersecurity, and inclusion managed? Yep. The first row will hopefully work on this. Maldives as a regional finance hub. By 2045, Maldives is a niche financial services hub in the region. What institutional and regulatory evolution supported this vision? What segments positioned Maldives competitively? And how did talent development and investor confidence grow? So these are the 5. And this is what we plan to do. For the next 20-25 minutes, craft a vision statement for your, after having discussed, of course, for your team, craft this vision statement. There is a statement already. You could amend that, or you could come up with your own vision. That would be preferable. And list 2 or 3 enabling strategies that brought that. Okay? After about 20 minutes of discussion, you can just write it down on that big sheet of paper, the A3 size paper provided. We're making you work, so thank you for coming. After you've written it down, we'll have one from each team do a rapid presentation of, from your seats, of course, of what you jotted down, and share with everybody else. But very importantly for us, all the sheets that you write upon, we'll use it as input as data collection for our analysis. So in advance, thank you very much for all what you will write down. But shall we start now? Who is not ready? Right, everybody is ready. So, everybody clear with the task? If not, it's here on the paper in front of you on your table. First row is 5, second row is 4, third row. These are columns, this is row. All right, thank you very much. I think that ends the time now. Now we're going to do that 2-minute pitch from, well, we can't have all the tables doing this, so maybe one from each team. Team 5, who would like to go? Thank you, Wahid, for volunteering.
Thanks,
Group 5.
Tim. Yes. So our vision for 2045 is business with pleasure. So our main mission statement is to position the Maldives as a leading global financial hub that harmonizes innovative digital finance with Islamic principles, fostering inclusive growth and sustained prosperity for all. So how we are going to get there? We are going to have good skills development policies with education and certification, good digital infrastructure, good healthcare systems, where the end result would be that regional countries such as China, India, where the high net worth individuals' home offices will be set up in the Maldives, and they will enjoying good tax systems with sound laws and regulations which are predictable and defendable and with a good court system. Thank you.
Thank you. That's thought out, that's well thought out. Right. Team 4, Innovation, FinTech and Digital Transformation. All right, that was fast.
So since everyone has the paper, I'm not going to read out the theme, but to follow the momentum, I'm just going to ask everyone to close your eyes. Why not? Close your eyes and envision the 2045, where everything is going to be fintech. Yeah? So now you can open your eyes and imagine. Imagine that you're walking into a supermarket. Imagine you, each one of you, you're walking into a supermarket. It has absolutely everything you want. So you've taken everything. You didn't do anything else. You just walk out. You didn't think about anything. You went in, took whatever you want, and you walked out. Did I pay? Of course I did. So that's our vision for 2045. We are thinking of a Maldives where we don't think about finance, we just walk in and we just walk out. Yeah? So it's basically an idea where the strategies will be built around digital ID. So from now to 2045, we will be walking the path to have a digital ID where we, the individual, the person, becomes our most authentic verification for finance. So we are the wallet. We are the walking, talking ATM. So when we walk in, the place will know who we are, how much money do we have. Whether I want to pay a bill, I will walk in and I'll pay and I'll just walk out. That's our vision. So to do that, we would need a strategy for digital finance exchange mechanism, which basically means an integrated digital framework to ensure that the financing, payment modalities, and data exchanges work. Other than that, we would need a strategy for digital data exchange mechanism. So basically for personal data, for corporate data, for finance data, like whatever other data that we need to build AI resilient Maldives that would work for our 2045 vision. Nice. So our idea is that there should be enabling laws and regulations, obviously, such as privacy laws, data, cybersecurity for people, for corporates of all forms, intellectual property rights, commercial data protection laws and regulations. So we're not, of course, able to think of everything right now, but when we say something so big as a human being becoming the authentication factor, that means we're going to need a lot of laws and regulations to enable that. So other than that, we feel like there should be a digital transformation authority, which is independent. I don't know whether authority and ministries would be a thing by 2045. Maybe it might be outdated, but something like that, like an institutional independent body that will create the future that we want. So we see a body like that, making sure that all this happens. So that's our vision. We didn't think about how we will finance this thing, because we saw that many others have themes for capital market financing, SME financing, blah, blah, blah. So we are hoping others have solutions that will pave way for our businesses to create that 2045 where we walk in and walk out. So, yeah.
Wow, thank you very much. Does any of the other Theme 4 groups want to add to that?
Yeah, we aren't as hip as that group, but we would probably be replacing our physical currency with CBDs. So for that, we probably need proper regulations around that area. Central bank digital currencies. We had instant credit approvals for those who want to not buy things, but I mean for investment purposes, but for that we would have our credit history properly, how would I say, properly analyzed. We would have our own credit score, instant credit score, which based on that financial institutions will approve or disapprove, or we will know in advance if you're getting anything or not. And on cybersecurity, I think we talked about having, we do have some laws and regulations, I don't know, but I think we need some more stricter practical regulation around this that needs to be implemented if we want to have people onboarded within these new systems as well. And finally, homegrown tech as well. We need that because we are depending a lot on foreign vendors right now, which could go kaput anytime. So we really need to depend on sort of producing our own pool, which supports these developments. So that's it basically.
Thank you. What about the last group that worked on fintech innovation and digital transformation?
Yeah, we have our vision statement is smart contracts through tokenization and distributed ledger will enable any transaction in the future. So that's our vision statement, and enable strategies are recognition and regulations to support our vision, and national IT infrastructure to align with international efforts to make it a reality. And also national legal efforts to undertake tokenization and enable smart contracts.
Okay, thank you. Now, we didn't give a chance to the other Team 5 groups to have a go. So let's have Team 5 groups add on to what Wahid was talking about earlier. Your Team 4? You had a title for your team.
Yeah. Yeah, the title for us is, it's blue translated to Divehi, so it's Nu, N-U, and a hyphen and a hub. So, Nu Hub. And our vision is the Maldives is a trusted and dynamic regional financial hub, leveraging blue finance to channel sustainable investment and drive inclusive prosperity. And following with, there's the three enabling strategies for us. And first one started with the policy and regulatory leadership. So there are, I will quickly go through 2 points. Establish a dedicated blue finance framework and positioning CMDA, and there is a new institution created by then, MIFC, Maldives International Financing Corporation, and as regional leaders in green and blue bond. The second point is talent and governance and ecosystem development, which is mostly about creating a regional center for sustainable finance training in partnership with UNDP, IFC, and global other universities. And finally, concluding it with innovation and technology, this is mostly about the launching digital platforms for technology, Blue Sukuk, carbon credits, and ocean-linked investment products, and leveraging fintech for inclusive access bridging in both institutional and retail investors across the region. Thank you.
Thank you. I think there was an additional group at the last, I think the last table was also working on Team 5, right? Do you have anything to add to those two? No, I see shaking heads. In which case, we can go to Team 3. Let's start with one of the groups, because the other groups will be adding on anyway. Third row. Climate and green finance for resilience.
Yeah, thank you. So, greetings from the future. We just had a $500 million valuation resort being sold off in the capital market. This is just what happened in the future, today, in 20 years in the future. So our theme is about climate and green finance for resilient, but we're just gonna, we just rephrased it in a way. So think about it. We just valued a resort for $500 million. How much can we value a lagoon for? How much can we value the Upper for? The Upper is an island. How much can we value a kuli or something that's something inherent in Maldivian islands? So if you value these natural resources, how much of a valuation can we get for whole islands? A total of 1,196. So these islands all have a value. So this is what we told the masses. Do you want to destroy this value just for additional housing for reclamation? That's something we've told the masses. And they all said, no, exactly. So what we did was we put a valuation on the natural resources of the nation, and then created a mechanism in these resources can be utilized for raising finance and access to finance. So think about Honeyford Bay being utilized as an asset for green financing or blue financing bond or a sukuk. Think about that. Think about how many millions of tourists visit Honeyford Bay, maybe tax on them for visiting, and that could be utilized as a means to repayment for the bond or the sukuk. So the end result is climate resilience. This is our vision. How did we get there? Number one, we put a moratorium on 2025. We put a moratorium on destroying all natural resources of the country. So we're not going to destroy any natural resource, not for any basic need, even for essential needs also, because the value is much higher than what we anticipate at the moment. Okay. Number two, we educated general masses on the value of these assets. Number three, and then we technically, even if we utilize a natural resource, we give it enough time for it to regenerate to its former self. So it's in a sustainable manner. That's it.
Thank you. That's very good, because there's already some groundwork being done to that direction, I think in Lamot, natural capital accounting, they say. So does any of the team 3 people want to add to that? There are 2 more tables. If you want to add, Shafaz, no? This team? Yeah, they're trying to get the mic working. Yeah, it's working now.
Hello, everyone. So while we were in 2045 with Azmin and the other teams, we saw something that I'm sure all of us will be very happy about. All the ambitions that we are talking about today, all the resilient environment that we are trying to create, it has all happened. And how it happened? Our capital market became a hub for climate-aligned financing. Renewable energy platforms now power solar panels in islands. Social impact bonds have funded health and education projects all across the country. And catastrophe bonds have strengthened disaster preparedness with layered support from donors and global reinsurers. And talking about our tourism industry, which Azmin has touched on, tourism and the blue economy are fully integrated into sustainable finance here in 2045. Tourism sustainability bonds have upgraded resorts with renewable energy and waste systems. And Blue Economy and Fisheries Fund, we have a Blue Economy and Fisheries Fund in 2045. It has modernized fisheries, driven ocean innovation. We also have dollar-denominated instruments which continue to attract foreign investors. So dollar-denominated instruments not only exist in 2045, it is continuing to attract foreign investors. So between 2025 and now, which is in 2045, we will see the dollar-denominated instruments becoming introduced and driving resilient economic growth in our economy. So in 2045, blended climate finance is not just a concept, it is the new norm, making markets investable in high-risk, long-term projects and turning the Maldives into a model of climate resilient and sustainable economic growth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Team 2? If team 3, the other group does not want to add, yeah, you do.
Okay, I would like to add a few points to what she has mentioned, actually. So my vision is actually to integrate those things, whether what we can do in the year or before 2025. Maybe, so what my thinking is, our group thinking is, as a vision, sustainable finance be driving a green growth. So to do that, actually, the financial institutions, they have to actually embed embed sustainability in the financials and corporate decision making. So if that happens, actually, then the investors should do or incorporate their investment strategies, the green and blue side of the, investment. So I just wanted that.
Okay, thank you. It seems time is running out for us. We just have about 5 minutes to go. So we might have to do one per theme. Sorry about that. So let's go to theme 2, capital market development and long-term financing. Which table wants to go? There you are.
Theme 2, the table, I just want to say some words. For the capital market development for long term, definitely we need a lot of rules and regulations for the future in place in order to invest, give the trust to the investors, definitely. So in terms of that, proper laws to be in place to protect the investors, and uncertainty should not be in place. What we mean is today, at current situation, investors come into place and invested. Next day, we see the tax is increasing. So the stability has to be in place if we need to give confidence to the foreign investors. On the other hand, capital market development, we don't see at all the secondary market at present. In terms in the future, for 45, definitely we need to have a secondary market in our fingertip that anyone who have a saving should be able to invest. It's the same when currently what we see is even the government is raising the funds through the tax on a short-term basis. We have to think on long-term basis. We shouldn't invest or spend money just for the development by raising the taxes. So the tax implications have played big roles in the capital market. It's a development side as well as a financing side. No one wants to invest. There's a tax variation increases. Even today, the current situation, what we see is the way it goes, we might be hitting above 50% of the tax. Current situation is 45% tax we take from the investors. So all these has to be considered when we have a national plan in place. That's what my contribution is to that.
Thank you. Can we go to theme 1, risk-based and inclusive lending? There, I see a hand. We're rushing because I've already been told we have 0 minutes.
Okay, I'll keep it quick. Our handwriting is pretty bad, so apologies in advance for any mistakes. So for inclusivity, we mentioned that we would like to have a financial ecosystem based on data, transparency, but beyond just numbers. So the way we can get there would be through open banking, creation of a universal risk scoring, and of course to have the regulators on board to ensure that we can do this in an inclusive manner.
Thank you, that was good. So a great round of applause for all of you for really being great players here. I'll go to the last slide where it says, okay. Big thank you. If you scan this QR code, there is a short survey if you have like 2 minutes to fill out later on. But kindly leave what you wrote on the tables because we will be using these in our data analysis for the formulation of the National Development Plan. When you scan the code, you'll get the future of finance and digital economy. There's a short survey on that. So it's an interesting one. Kindly fill that up. Our task is tough, but thank you for making it slightly easier with your inputs. I'll wrap it up here. Thank you very much.